Elite Wrestling All Out is tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. The pre-show is starting. We have 4 pre-show matches, 11 made-card matches. Absolutely huge show from AEW tonight. Let's go ahead and rank these matches based on how good we think they are going to be. We got Match of the Year contender at the top. We'll see if we put anything up there all the way through our normal tiers. I have added a new tier that I've never used before, saying good wrestling but meh match. This will be for, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the match right now. Pac versus Kip Sabian. This match kind of came out of nowhere. I get that there is a storyline there. Kip Sabian returning from injury. Pac going to be on the card because he is the All-Atlantic champion, but kind of a little meh. This is one of those pre-show matches where if you miss it, you miss it. It will be a technically good match, but I'm not going to win any awards, I don't think. Let's go ahead and grab the other 0-hour matches. That is the pre-show. They're going to have 4 matches in the 1-hour pre-show, which is a lot. They're going to have a mixed tag with Tay Mello and Sammy Guevara versus Ortiz and Ruby Soho, and this is for the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championships. This will, again, be probably good wrestling, but a meh match. In fact, maybe even a mediocre match. Should we go ahead and move these? I feel like we should actually switch those rankings up. Let's switch these colors. There we go. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a mediocre match. Mixed tags are hard. Guevara and Tay Mello are good at doing them, and Ortiz and Ruby Soho are both good as well, but just mixed tags are awkward, and I don't think they're going to have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in mediocre. Hook defending the FTW Championship against Angelo Parker. This one, again, probably going to be mediocre. They're not going to have a whole lot of time. Hook's probably just going to kill the man, even though he is probably a bigger star than Hook has faced most of the time. Still don't think the match is going to be that great. Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston, I do think will be a solid match. In my opinion, this is the match to see on the pre-show. It is a special New Japan versus AEW match with Ishii coming over from Japan. 2 hard-hitting guys. I think this will be a solid match to watch. And then on the main card, we have 11 matches. First, let's grab the TBS Championship. Jade Cargill defending against Athena. For this one, I'm going to say it's going to probably be a mediocre match. I don't think this match is going to be winning any awards or blowing anybody away. Athena is great. Jade Cargill is still green in a lot of areas. Does she finally lose? She's been undefeated for over a year, I think. Seems like it. Does she finally win? Lose to Athena? Does Athena take her out? Not sure about the outcome, but mediocre match. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be good either. Wardlow and FTR, the Pinnacle, versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns of Impact Wrestling in a trios match. This one 3-on-3. I think this is going to be a good match, but kind of meh. The whole Jay Lethal faction storyline has just really not been exciting me as much as I would have hoped it for it to. And now this match is a little weird because we don't have Satnam Singh in here. We assume he's going to probably be at ringside. But that was the whole point of kind of Wardlow going up against these guys is we're going to see Wardlow versus Satnam Singh, and now they're not in the same match. Maybe Samoa Joe was more injured than they realized. I think this match, adding Joe on one side and Satnam Singh on the other side, I think that'd be really, really good. But overall, this match is kind of meh for me. I just said kind of like 4 times in that sentence, didn't I? Yeah, let's move on. The Trios Title Finals. At the time I made this tier list, we weren't sure who it would be, but now we know. It is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, collectively the Elite, versus the Dark Order, which is Hangman Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. This match should be honestly great. Alex Reynolds and John Silver are definitely not at the star level of everybody else in this match, or even many people on the card. However, the Dark Order, more than almost any other trio on the roster, has had a storyline going. They're all friends. They've overcome the death of Brody Lee. They've stuck with Hangman the whole time, even when he was a good guy, bad guy, whatever. Through his world title reign, they were there for him. I'm not sure they're going to win, but with Omega and Page in there, it's going to be great. With the Bucks and Page in there, it's going to be great. And Reynolds and Silver are not bad wrestlers, so I think this will be pretty great. I think all these guys are going to be motivated to have a great match because it is for this inaugural Trios Championship. Next, we have a 4-way for the for the interim AEW Women's Championship. So Thunder Rosa injured. She was going to defend against Toni Storm. So instead now we're going to have Toni Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. This match should be solid. maybe so far as to say great. I think it will be overshadowed by some of the other matches on this card, but I definitely think it's going to be the best women's match on the card by a long shot. All 4 of these women's are fantastic. I think this just kind of depends on who they want to go with. Toni Storm may win to set up the match that they were already planning on doing, but depending on how long Thunder Rosa is going to be out, you could have Britt Baker win. You could have Jamie Hayter win. Either of those things setting up drama with the other and potentially setting up match against Toni Storm. Hikaru Shida, also not a bad option, but I don't think that Hikaru Shida will be my pick necessarily. Solid match, though, overall. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho will be a great match. These guys have wrestled before in WWE, but it was a long, long time ago. Very, very different match here. I think both of these guys are going to be motivated to go out there and steal the show as only veterans like they can. So great match. I am looking forward to this one. Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. I'm going to say solid match here. I like the storyline, Jungle Boy finally going on his own and really being presented as a star, Christian Cage turning on him. We don't really know where Luchasaurus stands. Of course, he did say he's with Jungle Boy, but they have not embraced like they did when they were a tag team, and he is still acting like a heel. Now, Luchasaurus did assault a referee, so he has been suspended in storyline, but he is actually coming back tonight, so he should get involved in some way, and it's going to be interesting to see how that shapes out. Ultimately here, Jungle Boy is fantastic. Christian Cage, I think, is a little over the hill. I think this will be a solid match, but it really depends where they want to go with this, because they could have Cage win to set up more matches, or they could have Jungle Boy win to really catapult him to the next level. So this one, not really sure where they're going to go with it, but I think it's going to be a solid match overall. Next, we have the Casino Ladder match. So this is the Ring of Honor champion, Cesaro, versus the Ring of Honor Pure champion, Wheeler Yuta. Then we have Pentagon Oscuro, Rey Fenix, Rush, Andrade, and why can I not remember names at the time I need them? That one guy who flips a lot and whose name escapes me. I'm going to stop talking. And a mystery guy. So we have a lot of tag teams and partners in this Casino Ladder match, but it is a single winner going to be coming out of this. So we will see some teams potentially be fighting each other, which will be interesting. Overall, I think it's probably going to be a great match. None of these guys are bad. In fact, all these guys are fantastic. So, yeah, great match overall. I'm really looking forward to this ladder match. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I think this is going to be a solid match. Hobbs turning on Starks. Starks being a face now. A similar thing with the Jungle Boy Christian Cage, but on a lower level, I'd say. Not as important of a feud, but pretty important for Ricky Starks, where he's going to go next in his career. If he's going to be set up for more matches against Team Taz and Hobbs, or if he's going to be, kind of just on his own, doing his own thing, and potentially with a big win over Hobbs to set him up for that. Next, the House of Black in a trios match against Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. This match really, really felt like it was just to get these guys on the card. And while that's not a bad thing, what might surprise you is I'm going to go ahead and put in good wrestling but meh match. These guys, this is the most star-studded match out of this ranking, out of this category. I just don't really see the need for the match. With such a long show, it's going to drag if all these matches aren't stellar. And especially compared to the WWE Clash at the Castle pay-per-view yesterday, which was great and really short, only 6 matches, 7 if you count the pre-show. I think that this one's going to feel very, very long by comparison, especially if matches like this drag on. So it will be technically good wrestling. I'm just afraid that it's going to be, it's going to drag a little bit, or it's going to make parts of the show drag a little bit. For the tag titles, we have Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed. This match should be solid overall. The Acclaimed are not going to win an award as the best wrestlers in the world, but they may win an award for the best characters in the world, the best talkers in the world. They've been on fire as of late, their whole storyline with the Ass Boys and Billy Gunn. And then going up against Swerve in Our Glory here. Relatively new champions, but both fantastic wrestlers. I think this is going to be solid. I'm not sure that it's going to be anything above that. And now that I'm looking at the matches that I put in solid, I do think that the women's match will probably be better than these 4. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up to great match. And then finally, we have the main event, Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. Not the interim, Moxley beating CM Punk on Dynamite. Now the return match in Chicago, CM Punk coming in with a home court advantage. I would love to say this is going to be match of the year, but I honestly don't think it's going to be. I do think it'll be a great match, however, though. So overall, we're seeing, on average, about the same as WWE yesterday. Lots of good matches, but a couple mediocre ones as well. Do you really have to watch the pre-show? I mean, yes, it'll have good wrestling on it, but you could probably skip it and your night might feel a little shorter. But yeah, these are what I think of all the matches on the card. What do you think? If you're watching this in the future, how was it? Who do you want to see in the next pay-per-view? Who do you want to see headlining it? And do we have too many matches in AEW? Because it's starting to feel like that. That was definitely something that we criticized WWE for not too long ago. So, with all that said, guys, thank you for watching. This has been the guy who makes random tier lists, and I'm signing out.